Good afternoon, guys. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm not able to do a sound check, so I'm hoping that this new microphone I have is actually working. But coming at you live from Washington, D.C., here in the Cannon House building, where all the House members, House of Representatives, are on one side of the Capitol, the Senate are on the opposite side of the Capitol. But this is what they call Media Row. You can probably see behind me a lot of the TV stations. There's a sort of a mini rotunda, and as you walk around the rotunda, every section is a different TV station. So they'll have, ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, Fox. They all have their own stations here, but there's an empty one here today, so I'm using it. Anyways, wanted to give you guys an update. I've been here all week. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mark Ludwig. I did put my link to my personal page at the Threader. I don't think that you can see it while I'm talking, but if you're wanting to follow my personal page, you'll be able to, after this gets done, click on the rebroadcast and you'll see the link to my personal page. I try to not bombard the TFRM page with too much legislative stuff because there's a lot of other things that they do, and a lot of you probably get sick of hearing me all the time. So if you're not sick of me and you're just one of the legislative junkies and love talking about legislation, follow my personal page, and I promise you'll get more than you could imagine. I've already been posting today pictures of all the people I've had meetings with, and I do regular Facebook Lives almost on a daily basis, sometimes twice a day on that page. But to give you an update, been up here this week and having a great week so far. I've lost track of all the meetings that I had. Today was a very good day. Got a chance to meet with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, Senator Bill Lee from Utah, my friend Andy Biggs from Arizona, who's running for governor of Arizona right now. Andy is a big supporter of ours. Some of you may remember, and if you don't know, I first met Andy 8 years ago. We were at dinner with President Trump, and Andy just happened to be seated next to me, and as we were talking, he said, what do you do? And so I started telling him that I started a group called Americans for Equal Shared Parenting, trying to get kids equal time with both parents after divorce. And he said, can you stop by my office tomorrow? So I, the next morning, head into his office. His wife Cindy's there. So the two of them go into his office with me, and he said, Mark, I'll just tell you, he said, I haven't seen my grandson in 91 days due to a custody situation. And he said, here I am, a member of U.S. Congress, the chair of the Freedom Caucus, and I can't see my own grandson, and my son can't see his own kids. What does everybody else in America do? So we spent about an hour that day talking about Title IV-D and how it's creating a fatherless society and all the problems with it. And Andy has been a huge supporter of ours for a long time. But fortunately now we're getting a lot more support. Every visit that I've come up here, we gain a couple more and a couple more. And this trip has just been phenomenal. Sat down with the leaders of one of the biggest caucuses here, and because there's 435 members, you have to go for caucuses. At the state level, sometimes at a state, you can get a bill passed by just talking to about 15 people. You get the Speaker of the House, Majority Floor Leader, the Majority Whip, the caucus leader, and the committee members of whichever committee you wanted assigned to, and you could pretty well get a bill passed at the state level. At the federal level, you're not going to do that. You're going to have to meet with well over half of those 435 members, but normally you need 2 to 3 members because the member of Congress isn't usually at those meetings. Usually it's a policy advisor, then you'll need to meet with a policy director, then a chief of staff. So we're talking about 2,000 meetings that need to take place. It's so much easier to go for the caucuses. So if you get the larger caucuses like the Black Caucus or the Freedom Caucus or the Family Caucus, that's how you really get legislation passed. And I did have a great meeting yesterday with the leaders of one of the biggest caucuses up here. Very supportive. We have more meetings coming up. I'm coming back in November on the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Excuse me. But I'll be bringing a whole team of people. I know Don Hubin from NPO is going to be coming up with me, Brian Ulrich from NPO, Molly Olson, who's probably one of the best experts in the country on Title IV-D reform, Phil Creed from Ohio. So we're going to have a whole team of people coming up with me in November. But right now I'm laying some groundwork, but it's some pretty good groundwork. So like I said, met with the Speaker of the House today, met with Ted Cruz, met with Senator Bill Lee from Utah, met with Andy Biggs from Arizona. I got a chance to meet with one of my longtime friends, Bob Onder. Bob Onder helped us pass the Missouri Equal Shared Parenting Bill. I had a great meeting with him today. Tomorrow is the biggie. I'll be at the White House from 10 o'clock until 12 o'clock. And with that, there's two things that we're working on. One is Title IV-D reform, which is the funding mechanism that's causing all the problems with child support. If we can get rid of Title IV-D, or at least wean it down where it should be, that's going to alleviate a lot of the problems that people have. And then the other thing I'll be meeting at the White House about is potentially creating a White House Council for boys and men. You know, right now there's 8 federal agencies and departments specifically focused on women. And not to invalidate the needs of women, but why is there 8 for women and not a single one for men? So that's one thing we're working on, is creating a White House Council for boys and men. Warren Farrell has been pushing for this for a long time, the author of The Boy Crisis. We get together every 2 weeks. We have a Zoom meeting with some of the leaders in the country talking about that. It just so happens I have 13 personal friends now that work in the current administration at the White House. And so for the first time, we have a very, very good in at the White House, since I have so many friends working there, to see, hey, let's test this out. Let's see, can we really get something like this done? So tomorrow I'll be doing some meetings. I'll probably I will be doing a Facebook Live on my personal page from the West Wing. So I don't have time to do one on each page, so if you're interested in that, it'll be around noonish Eastern time tomorrow, but follow my personal page for Mark Ludwig, and you'll get a chance to see, but I'll do a from outside the West Wing. I can't do one inside the West Wing, but outside the West Wing, I'll be doing one tomorrow, probably around noonish Eastern time. And then still a lot more meetings tomorrow to go. Tonight I've got a reception over at the Capitol Hill Club with a bunch of members of Congress. I'll be meeting with the Heritage Foundation leaders while I'm here. So it's very, very productive week. Just very, very excited, guys, but wanted to share some of that news because I know for a lot of you it gets discouraging because you're like, are we ever going to see any kind of change? And I know the feeling. And all I can tell you is depressing as it sounds, change at the federal level takes time. Look at how long it took to get rid of slavery. Look at how long it took to get some of these equality bills passed. Well, it's taking a while, but we are making progress. And I'll tell you what, more progress has been made in the last 6 months than we've made in, I'm not exaggerating, about the last 30 years combined. We've made that amount of more than that in the last 6 months. So things are really headed the right direction. A lot of doors are opening up, both on the House side, the Senate side, with the White House, and with HHS. And I'll talk more about that. I'll probably be coming up in October for some meetings with HHS, which is where that Title IV-D program is run out of. But just want to let you guys know we are working. I know it gets discouraging. Stay plugged into TFRM. Make sure you have a support group, because I can remember the nights that I sat crying on the couch with no hope. When you don't know if you're ever going to see your kid again, it gets very depressing. And I know that feeling. I will never forget that feeling. So fortunately, I don't have the access that I'd like yet with my son, but it's much improved over the 204 days when he was kidnapped from me. So I want to let you know I'm always thinking about you guys. I love all the messages, the support that I get. It's messages like you guys that help inspire me to keep going on trips like this. So thanks again, and I will be talking to y'all later.